straight to Tsakane. We're keeping up the good fields. And as I said to you, Tsakane is out and about, and you were, of course, with us everywhere. We've been on the road to the Netball World Cup. We've been on the Rugby World Cup. We got behind Banyana. We jetted off to France for the mighty Springboks. And, of course, we continue to show our support for these beautiful Proteas, and we're wishing them the best of luck in India as they play today, Afghanistan. So with this in mind, we ask, how do we keep the interest in sport alive? And it's at the grassroots level. Now, let's go to Tsakane. She's at Geluksdal Primary School, and she's going to be spending time with the young people there and handing out some beautiful equipment. Tsakane, how is it? Talk to us. Let us know what's going on.
Well, Leanne, it's absolutely fabulous. And as you say, keeping up those good fields. We've been on the road with Morning Live, and let me just quickly locate where we're at. So we're in Ekurhuleni, was in the studio this morning, traveled about 44 kilometers to the east of Johannesburg, and we are now in Geluksdal. And this place, Geluksdal, was actually formed in 1972 when a portion of the Withok plots were actually designated for a coloured area. So that is where we're currently at. And of course, if you look across, which we can't quite see right now, as is the problem with so many communities around mining areas, you have the dust from that tailings facility from the Brakpan mines that obviously does its thing and spews that dust across the community, which is a story for another day, because we are here for good fields. We've been on the road, so once again, thank you to our very generous sponsors, Aspen Pharma Care. We've brought some equipment here, so Gilbert with the balls, as well as Adidas with the balls, and of Netball SA. Thank you so much for coming to the party and making sure that we are able to at least spread some of that cheer and make sure that there is equipment for the youngsters to play with. Because if you were to Google Geluksdal, what you would find in the main is talk about the problems, especially at the secondary school, with regard to gangsterism, with regard to drug abuse and racial incidents. And we've seen over the past few weeks how the Springboks have galvanized South Africans and assisted with social cohesion, which has been difficult at times. But of course, it shows us that with the right leadership, with the will in place, all of this can be done. And we hope to keep all of that up here in Geluksdal this morning. So you can see the children behind me. By the way, we didn't stage this. We found them here actually playing cricket, and some of them have taken some of the rugby balls that we brought. So there is something happening in the community. It's not as if they started this morning with Morning Live. But of course, we're just going to get a sense of what exactly is going on. And I'm joined firstly by the councillor in the area, Mr. Desmond Buitendag.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
No, good morning to you and to listeners, and thanks for visiting our area.
So tell us more about Geluksdal, and of course we've got a lot of children coming from neighbouring Tsakane as well, and other areas coming to this school and making use of the facilities that are present here.
Yeah, no, our area is very diverse, as you said earlier on. We are hosting Tsakane and Geluksdal and other areas, so our learners come from all areas, and I think as we are here for today for sports, I think we must first acknowledge our people who have done a lot, people like Mr. Prince, who was also at this school and then later moved on, and McPherson, who today we are seeing the benefits and the fruits of the work that was joined by people like Barney Andrews and his wife, and then later on by Logan. So those are the people who add value to our sport in the community.
So, and we'll speak to Logan in just a short while, but just in terms of the equipment, I mean, you'll be surprised at what sort of emails we receive, people asking for exactly these sort of things, cones and the like. And our sponsors, they do tell us that there's more stuff to come, but this is what we have at the moment. The rest will be couriered and delivered to the school. Your talk, just talk us through, what that means to you.
No, it will definitely add value to what the community is trying to achieve, and we really appreciate, and we humbly ask that if they can they just do a little bit more, because the need is so much. We do have locals, people like the Apple Spirals, your Tumsane, and as I said, Barney Andrews, but it's Logan is trying his best, but help from their side from any other person can help and then add value to what we are trying to achieve.
Councillor Buitendag, thanks so much. And as he says, the support is needed because there's space. You can see the fields behind us. There is space, but of course it needs to be developed. Logan, thanks so much for speaking to us. Logan Fortain, you're a sports activist in the community. Firstly, how would you say sport is actually assisting as a driver towards not just social cohesion, but diverting young people who tend to fall into the wrong things very often?
No, good morning, Sakiana, and good morning to your listeners. What a privilege it is for today that we are at Geluksdal Primary School, a school where I attended, where I started my sport career. And today I'm giving back to my community. We started, for instance, with cricket. Let me tell you, we've got about 130 children playing cricket in our community, 10 teams. We've got about 15 children that play provincial cricket. We've got about 10 children that's on full scholarships to the best schools in this country. That's because of sports. I believe that the foundations of sports starts in the primary schools. And that the more we can be able to have more active sporting girls in our community, the better it is for our community. If you look at a community like Geluksdal, for instance, like you said, the reason why our children are in the state that it is because of gangsterism, drug lords are the mentors of the children today. But we want to try and convince the children that it is possible through sports and education that we can be able to change their lives. And
but it's hard work, of course. It's not easy because you literally need to give off yourself, never mind your time and resources, in order to make that happen.
But there's a lady in may her soul rest in peace, Marina de Lange. We find inspiration from her because she started the work in this community. We took the battle and we moved forward with it. Today, we know, if you look at the scholarships that the children are on, it's worth 500,000 rand a year. That is changing a child's life. Our work as activists in the community is to give our time because there's people that came before us that gave their time to us. And today is a privilege. And we want to say thank you to SBAN, and we also want to say thank you to SABC to spread the good news. The good news is there is hope in our community. We look up to people like Sia Kolisi from where they started. And today we see they change not only people in the township but in the world. And we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, and of course all the other sponsors, because we take for granted things like a ball, a bat, a cone, but these are necessary for the development.
It's important. I believe that we need to run a 12-month program. It not only needs to be soccer, but we need to start with athletics in the beginning, and then we need to go to netball, and then we need to go to cricket so that we can run a full program where a child comes to school, after school goes to a cricket facility, do his homework, and then only go back in the afternoon at 6 so that he can be able not to find himself in the social ills that we find ourselves in our community.
Well, thank you so much, Logan, who's a sports activist in the community. And just incidentally, Marina de Lange was my late cousin, and she actually started this because her son had fallen into drug abuse, and it was a way to make sure that her younger son didn't have the same fate befall him. But of course, we'll still speak to the principal. We've heard of some of the students here at the school receiving brilliant sponsorships, and that, of course, is life-changing, not only for the learners, but of course for their families and the communities at large. But we'll have more on that after this break.